What's up, guys? Powerbang here, and I'm bringing you guys an advanced strategy guide today that's going to talk about Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 Archer Queen walks with a GoVaHo strategy. Now, if you guys haven't started using this strategy yet, you've probably figured out that this is the new meta of the game. It's the most common and viable way to pick up a 3-star on a Town Hall 10 or a Town Hall 11 base, even when those bases are set up to defend specifically against it. If you look at this base here, the Expos are all set to ground. That is something that you're seeing more and more commonly, rather than the old Expo to air phenomenon that we saw in the last meta, which was basically everything was La Lune. Now you're seeing everything focused on ground-based attacks. Now, what we're going to look at in this video is we're going to look at like what kind of tanking you need for these raids. We're going to look at wall breakers, where we need them, where we don't. A lot of it's going to depend on splash towers and multi-targeting towers, such as multi-infernos, wizard towers, etc. We're also going to look at spell placement today and which spells in order to drop them and whatnot. So it's going to be an exciting video. We've got 3 Town Hall 10 raids to show you guys. So let's get right into that. Predator is going to be my subject of the day. He's got a very consistent attack style here, so let's break it down. Towards the end of the video, we will be seeing some Town Hall 11 content as well. We're going to look at the Town Hall 10 versus, or Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 10 dips. We're also going to look at a Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 11. So the first premise here that you're going to see is an Archer Queen walk happens, and also while this is going on, you notice that there are minions around the base doing some funneling outside of the range of air targeting defenses. He starts to walk his queen down the wall, opens up the compartment for her, and the whole point of this Archer Queen walk, guys, is to get a ton of value. You want to get a bunch of defensive buildings down, and also you want to make sure that you're funneling the interior of the base. Now, what that means is all of these buildings on the right, bottom right side of this base, he needs to take these down. That way, when the Valkyries eventually are in the interior of the base, they are not straying, and they're actually honing in on the Inferno Towers, which are the key target and the key objective that you're going to want to focus on when you're doing a GoVaHo. So, opens up the compartment there to let the queen out. She completely clears that bottom right side, which is fantastic. And so, one key point here at Town Hall 10 especially, is you need to do a CC lure, because the new meta for CC compositions as far as defense is concerned is the Golem. Golems are not a Valkyrie's friend. The level 5 Golem in a defensive clan castle, when it explodes, will do 550 damage, which is more than half of the health bar of a Valkyrie. Now, while you have an Inferno Tower or Wizard Tower or even Giant Bomb explosions, that is not the time to be dealing with that Golem. So you see a Hog come in and goes ahead, gets a double bomb trigger, as well as the Golem loon out of the clan castle. Now, one thing I will point out is make sure you have a poison spell in your army to make sure that you drop that between your queen and where that balloon is approaching. You want to make sure it's on the field before the balloon gets into it. That way it dies before it reaches your queen. If it's in that poison spell for the duration of its travel, it will die. Engaging the CC Golem outside of a lot of defense range is important, so try to plan the lure and time it to where the density of defensive buildings in the base is low. You only want like 1 point defense, if at all possible, on your queen, as you see here with the Archer Tower, on your queen at the time of the CC engagement. So once that's taken care of, you can see the Valkyries and the King go in. Notice them beat through the wall. As long as they are outside of the range of a Wizard Tower that's on the other side of the wall, you're good to go. You're good to do that. Those Valkyries in large groups like this will do amazing things. You can get away with not using wall breakers or jump spells early on in your raids if you pick spots that are outside of the range of those Wizard Towers. So the first thing that happens on the approach, you want to make sure that you approach an Inferno Tower so that you're going through one Inferno Tower outside of the range of the second one. So you're basically approaching like the short side of a bomb if you were looking at it like a double bomb set. If you're hogging a base, it's the same thing with Inferno Towers. The Valks need to approach one, get that done, and then take on the second. Now, if you were to approach from the bottom right, you would take on both Inferno Towers at the same time. It would be impossible to heal through that, and your raid would essentially be destroyed before it starts. That is how you determine which side to Archer Queen walk. You want to basically do it parallel. If you drew a line from one Inferno Tower to the other, you would want to Archer Queen walk parallel to that line and pick either, in this case, the lower right side of the base or the upper left side of the base. How you determine where you actually do that walk, if you're planning on bringing hogs later on in the raid, you want to Archer Queen walk the side with the most double giant bomb or giant bomb threat. In this case, there's a double bomb on the bottom right side. He chooses to walk through that, take it out, so later on, the hogs that are sent into the base aren't immediately fried. Otherwise, there's no point in bringing them. So when you look at a base, if you could imagine this, this right side here, basically everything that is destroyed is one column. That column is the responsibility of the Archer Queen. Then there is the center column, the compartment that is empty here, that the Valkyries are in, and all the way through the center of the base, the core, and out the backside, that is the center column. That is the responsibility of the Barb King and the Valkyries. So the last column is over here on the left side. It's the equivalent of what the Archer Queen walked on the opposite side. This is the responsibility of the hogs. Now, as the Valkyries are sent into the base and they're distracting, that is when you're going to see the Hog Riders come in. But first, let's talk spell placement. Free spell on the first Inferno, guys. It's key. What you want to make sure that happens is, this is for Town Hall 10s, only the 11s have a little bit different of a procedure. The free spell goes down first, and then the heal spell is dropped immediately following the freeze, so that the tail end of that heal spell you can see is covering the entire compartment that the Inferno Tower is in. You want those Valkyries to not take really any damage at all, and then a rage spell immediately following that is dropped for the Queen engagement and beating through the next wall. Now, watch how quickly the Valkyries completely mow through that wall. It's like it's not even there. They come through, and then the jump spell is placed on the back side. Now, you can see the hogs being trickled in from that left side, taking things out, which is great. He even targets some for the back right side. As the king approaches the second Inferno Tower, you can watch his health bar and, dynamically use the ability. But keep in mind that that Barb King ability should be used in the second half of the raid, as you will be out of spells for the Valkyries by the time you hit the core. Now, he has minions here for cleanup on the backside, but absolutely smashes the base. And again, guys, the main premise here is to take out one column with the Archer Queen, the center column with the Barb King and Valks, the other side with the Hog Riders. So that being said, let's look at another raid. And we won't break it down quite as much, but we'll watch, what is going on. Again, it's going to be Predator here, and he's going to be getting a very high-value Archer Queen walk once again. And you'll notice the offset clan castle here, where he can actually approach it pretty well from the upper left portion of the base. So what he's going to do here is take out a few buildings. Once he takes out this gold mine over here, that's going to force his queen back to the cannon eventually, and you're going to see him wall break open that compartment to where he can actually charge in and get the CC lure. So down goes a giant to do some off-tanking while his queen heals up a little bit, as there is a lot of damage incoming here. Again, guys, you see the poison spell come down for that balloon approach, and this is where it gets a little bit scary in this raid. He lets his queen ride on like no health the entire time. Now, if there's a little bit of space between the queen and a wall and the golem has some room to approach her, the golem explosion damage will not normally do any damage here. As you saw there, the golem exploded. It did not do damage to the queen. She stands far enough away, her hitbox is not affected by that golem explosion. Now, if she's standing on a wall and the golem jumps the wall and is on top of her, then the explosion damage will do damage to that queen and hurt her significantly. Finally uses the ability, but notice, guys, she is starting to break into the base. Now, what he has done here, notice that there's two wizard towers that have already been taken out, or excuse me, there's one wizard tower that's been taken out over here on the left. That is going to make it so there is no splash damage that's really at all going to endanger his Valkyries. So what you're going to see is the Valks approach. He's able to, with no jump spell, hit the first part of this base. And again, when he goes in, the queen is going to approach and stand right behind that Inferno Tower. You're going to see a free spell come down. You're going to see a heal spell that's going to go ahead and get up. So there we go. In comes the CC Valks. opens it up, and you'll notice, guys, that there is no tanking here. No golems are being used, no giants are being used for these Valkyries. The Valkyries are tanks in and of themselves, and the truth of the matter is you do not want giants or golems in front of your Valkyries, because the truth is they aren't going to be in front of your Valkyries for more than a couple of seconds. So a rage spell is dropped in this case to get him through this first compartment. There we go. And then as the the Inferno Tower is frozen there, we have another rage spell that is dropped in the core. Now that second rage spell that's dropped, that one was a luxury. He decided to not spend the rage spell on the Archer Queen break-in. You saw that he had his health hanging by a sliver. He decided to risk it, save the rage spell, and that gave him a tremendous amount of value for his Valkyries, because now he's able to use that rage spell in the core and really just do some gutting. He gets the Queen taken out, and look at those Valkyries path to the jump spell that's waiting on the backside Inferno. They hop the wall. One swing, two swings, Inferno Tower down. Now at this point, here come the hogs from the bottom right. Notice the pathing they're taking. The upper left and the bottom right, the Queen has worked her way in, negated a double bomb, and he's hogging the portions of the base that do not have any bomb threat. So that's very key, that when you choose your hog pathing, you're not going over giant bomb threats, which is great. So at this point, this is where a lot of Town Hall 10 raids end up. Very few troops left, a lot of the base to go, but relying on the heroes to go ahead and polish it off. Now, if you have lower level heroes, this is kind of where the attack would peter out. The Queen might be able to finish it off, but it probably would have never gotten to this point. But basically what you have is a very high percentage 2-star, which for most players with low heroes is fantastic. Now, he finishes off, making sure that he drops his troops on the edge of the trash ring, as always, guys, and he gets that 3-star wrapped up. So, some bullet points above my head here. Make sure that you pay attention to all of those. The high-value AQ walk doing that interior funneling. You've got minions doing efficient exterior funneling, 2 camp space for a minion, and that... Excuse me, geez, Louise, I almost swallowed my own spit there. That's never good. Two camp space there for minions, and that can, sometimes take out 1, 2, even 3 buildings. So look for spots where you can do that. The CC lure is absolutely key. You got to make sure that you're paying attention to that. So let's go check out this other war here. We've got one more raid that we can show. It looks like number 9 in this one. And again, guys, more of the same. You'll see the 2 rages. You'll see a heal spell, a freeze, and a jump. Jump for the backside, typically, of the the core to get to the second Inferno Tower. The first Inferno Tower and the Queen position and breaking into the core is dealt with Valkyries in a rage spell. So minions doing some funneling up on the top left out of the range of air targeting defense, and the Queen again breaking into one of the side compartments, walking her way down. All is well so far. Totally, making a gigantic funnel here. And one thing I wanted to point out in this particular raid is he's getting some great value again with the minions up on the top, taking out some of that trash while his Queen is working. And as the Queen works, he's going to be able to go ahead and get a lure with her as she progresses to the end of this compartment. Another thing is he's got more minions working on these buildings, and what he's trying to do is make a clean entry here on his Valkyries. I'm going to pause the video here in a second to show you guys his options when sending these Valkyries in and why he chose to do what he did. Now, notice he doesn't have very many wall breakers. He just has 3 left. And what he's doing here is using those for the Queen. In this particular scenario, the guy does not have a golem. He has some Valkyries, so he actually is able to save the ability here. Not needed at all. Drops the poison spell, takes care of him, and then continues the walk. Now, as that cannon is aggroed there on the Queen, he drops in more wall breakers to go ahead and help the Queen wrap around the base and be able to get into that backside. Now, this is the point of the entry that I want you guys to pay attention to. He could have dropped in Valkyries on both of these side buildings to go ahead and, eventually meet up in the middle and enter in the base right around this Archer Tower. The problem with that is If he would enter at the bottom right side of this compartment, that means those Valkyries path upward and to the left and end up on the elixir collectors up here. What does that do? That makes them target the next building, which happens to be this gold storage. Now, that is going to make it where his Valkyries actually are going to be lured away from the Inferno Tower, which is what he wants. So instead, he's trimming some buildings here so he can directly target the upper left portion of this compartment, so the Valkyries travel down and to the right. That means they end up on the Dark Elixir Drill, and the next building they target is the Archer Tower here in the core, and again, right after that's going to be the Queen and the Inferno Tower. Now, we'll see the freeze come down on the first Inferno Tower here, along with the heal spell and the Rage. So look at that. Opens up that top left side of the compartment there. There we go. So we're in. Now the Valkyries kind of work their way down. The freeze spell comes down, and a heal spell immediately healing up those Valks. It's waiting for them as they work their way to the core. A little bit early on the freeze and the heal, to be honest. But he's going to go ahead, rage up, take out the king, the queen, everything, no problem. Hog's already coming in from the top left, guys. And notice they're coming at a direction that is going to eliminate giant bomb threat. He has walked, the right side of this base and the bottom in front of this Inferno Tower, which is awesome. And sends in some Hogs to directly target the Tesla farm. The king uses his ability in the approach of that second Inferno Tower. That actually allowed the Inferno to tank, to be tanked by barbarians and the king itself while the Hogs approached. Again, cleanup coming from the outside. So again, guys, to recap the process. Interior funneling with the Archer Queen walk. You can break in. You don't need to break in, but you can to do that. You're going to do a CC lure to make sure that the Queen takes care of the clan castle troops. And then you're going to do some funneling while she's doing that. Break into the base with the King and the Valkyries. And then a free spell on the first. Inferno. Holy crap, guys. Stop blowing me up. Free spell on the first Inferno. Then you've got, holy Jesus, Jantra. Holy crap, man. Anyways, first Inferno, free spell. Then a heal spell is down to keep your Valkyries up. A rage spell is down there as well. So there's basically 3 spells working in conjunction to push your troops through the first major objectives of the base, get them to the core at full health, and then at that point, they're going to take on that backside Inferno with no real assistance aside from the Barbarian King ability. And that is going to, really the Inferno Towers don't do a ton of damage, especially after most of the base's defense has been taken out. At the start of the, the raid where there is still a ton of defenses up, that is not exactly what you want for the Valkyries. So, if you're basically waiting for the second, Inferno Tower to use that freeze, oftentimes you don't have enough troops that make it to the core with full health to actually survive to get to the second Inferno Towers. That's why it's important to do the first one. So, guys, we're going to look at some Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 10 action here. And the reason I show this, a lot of people look at these raids and they say, oh, it's a dip. It's easy. This shouldn't be shown or whatever. I disagree entirely. These should be shown, and the reason why is in no fair play clan out there are the Town Hall 10s clearing the Town Hall 10s. There are always Town Hall 10s available at the end of the war in crunch time for Town Hall 11s to target. Now, if you have a Town Hall 10 that is available to hit, and you also have a Town Hall 11, they both have the same amount of stars available. The Town Hall 11 has several extra point defense, flash towers. They've got the Grand Warden. They've got an Eagle Artillery. Why in the heck would you target that? There's no point in doing so. So targeting these Town Hall 10s is very appropriate. It happens all the time. And it's also very common for Town Hall 11s to fail. I see it all the time. Now, let's look at a GoVaHo from the perspective of a Town Hall 11. There are some differences. The first thing being is the order of the spells. What you're going to see here is he does not have a healing spell. And the reason for that is the Grand Warden ability, the Tome, actually acts as a heal spell and a free spell combined. So what you're going to see is instead of the free spell and the heal spell coming down on the first Inferno Tower as you approach, you're going to see the Grand Warden ability. There's certain things that Grand Warden ability is negating. Those things are CC Golems. Not as important to lure for a Town Hall 11 on a Town Hall 10. You just have to pay attention to where that golem is and make sure that the Grand Warden ability is active when it explodes. That way no damage is done for the Valkyrie. So the Queen again gets that walk going on. She starts to roll out, and here's the thing, guys. The Grand Warden goes with the Valks and with the King. Watch this very carefully. The rage spell is down. Grand Warden ability is now active. The key, guys, is that Grand Warden ability is active before the giant bombs are triggered. There's always going to be giant bombs in front of the Inferno Towers when you approach into these anti 3-star bases. Make sure that the tome is activated. Now, when that is activated, the rage spell, the first one should be down to be on your King and your Valks, and what that's going to do is let them rip through the giant bomb, the Inferno Tower. Now, the Grand Warden ability is just now wearing off, and the Queen is down as well. Not a single Valkyrie has had any hit points removed to this point. So all Valkyries at full health, and we've got the splash towers down as well now, and the Valkyries are going to beat into the core. Now, same thing as in the Town Hall 10 raids, jump spell down on the backside, and in the core you have the ability of dropping more rage spells if needed. A free spell now is brought for the backside Inferno. This provides Valkyries even more insurance. As you can see there, the double giant bomb is triggered, and the Valks are still over half health. And you're going to see the healers in the raid oftentimes will switch to the Valkyries if you do a closed Queen Walk. What that means is the Queen Walk actually joins up with the Valkyries. The healers will often switch targets because the Valkyries become the ones that are assuming the role of taking the damage. So they basically rips through the base. He's got minions for the backside. It's going to be a 3-star for the good guys, but the main differences at Town Hall 11, guys, are, using the Grand Warden ability for the first Inferno Tower. It's going to be basically a heal spell and a free spell combined. The free spell portion of it obviously negating all of the damage that's incoming on anything inside that Grand Warden's range. And then the heal spell is basically there's no damage being done to your troops that are affected. So that's what I mean by the freeze and the heal. That means that you can save, resources for later on in your push, and that is absolutely huge. So let's look at one more raid today, and then we're not going to look at this raid. We're going to go to our current war. We'll look at number 3 there, and there we go. This is going to be a Town Hall 11 versus a Town Hall 11 attack, and I wanted to show this because this is probably what a lot of you guys are seeing as far as, trophy-based style designs. This is very vulnerable for a couple reasons. When you're scouting it, look at the bomb location potential. No double bombs. You're going to see down here on the bottom there's potential for a bomb. On the right, on the top, on the left, all potential for bombs there. A couple in the core. I guess there is potential for a double down there, but more than likely in the core you're going to find Teslas instead, especially on trophy bases. But we will keep an eye on that. The biggest thing to pay attention to, though, guys, is the Eagle Artillery and the Inferno Towers are in the core, all right next to each other. So with a proper Grand Warden Tome, as well as a Rage Spell, Valkyries could completely decimate this base in no time at all. The main factor here is making sure that the jump spell being used does not bleed into compartments where you do not want your Valkyries to go. That is something that I should mention, guys. Valkyries, really, they will stray on you. Jump spells are not necessarily favored as much by Valks as they are by other troops. And what I mean by that is they will kind of split on you. If you drop a jump spell that covers a junction where Valks could go multiple different ways, they will go multiple different ways. Drop your jump spells in a fashion that leads your Valkyries to the objective. Those objectives are Inferno Towers, Queen, Grand Warden, not Grand Warden, but the Eagle Artillery. Those are the objectives, and you want to make sure that the jump spell leads directly to them. If there is an opportunity for the jump spell to lead them elsewhere, they will take that opportunity. And something too, if you drop your jump spell in a way like if they were in the core, if that jump spell is more than 3 tiles away from a defense building that's on the other side of a wall the Valkyries are beating on, they will ignore the jump and continue to beat through the wall. So make sure that the jump spell is close to the Valkyries when you are trying to use it. So that all being said, guys, about jump spells, Lars is going to demonstrate one here in just a second. The Archer Queen walk, again, guys, look at this base. If you break it down, the bottom right, so basically from where he entered with the queen all the way up this side, that's one column. Another column is this central area here. He's going to basically take that out with his Valkyries. And then this left side is going to be the Hog Riders. So in they go to the top. Eagle Artillery is firing, and that's what another thing too, guys, is make sure that you use minimal troops on your funneling while the queen is walking against the Town Hall 11. The last thing you want is that Eagle Artillery activating on your queen, and that is not ideal. Look here at the jump spell, though, guys. He did not drop that in a fashion that was going to lead those Valks anywhere other than the core. He has saved his Grand Warden ability until the approach to the core. He uses it. Looks like the Eagle Artillery has no effect. 2 free spells down on each side of the core. A Rage in there. And look at that. Completely destroys all of the objectives in there. And in come the Hogs now from the top left. And we have targeted basically the same defense building there. He's got Wizards backing everything up. Unfortunately, they do catch a giant bomb there. And, that's going to weaken them. And then the Queen, again, guys, if you can keep her alive, and as long as the Inferno Towers are down, she's going to continue to walk more often than not because there's not enough concentrated defense to take her out. So minions over on the right, unfortunately, step ahead of the Queen. They get killed, but no big deal. On the bottom left, we've got just one air targeting defense building left in that air defense, and we've got to get that thing taken down. Unfortunately, the King dies to a giant bomb, and that is going to hurt significantly. The right side being cleaned up. Lars gets so close here, guys, but, he followed the principles. This is just showing you that, and I'm only grabbing attacks from our last 2 wars here, just kind of showing you guys the Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 game. Gets to the last defense, runs out of time, unfortunately, but the strategy is there. The execution is there, and really nice attack by Lars. Guys, 99% on a Town Hall 11 is great, and oftentimes just to get the percentage like that, 4 and 11, is fantastic in war because your 11s are more often than not focused on the 10s because that's where the stars are available and they're easier attacks. So to recap everything, guys, get those high-value Archer Queen walks taking care of one side of the base. Make sure you do some interior funneling with those Archer Queens, and then when you get to a spot with that walk where you're out of harm's way as far as defense is concerned, get a Hog in there to get a lure done. Make sure you get any golems out of the way, especially if you're a Town Hall 10 and do not have that Grand Warden ability to bail you out. Get that golem out of the way, take care of it with the Queen. Once that's done, make sure that you've got a funnel created. Look to do it with minions because they're extremely cheap and efficient. And then use those Valkyries to beat through the wall. If there's no splash towers in range, you can just beat through the wall with the Valkyries themselves. Don't go lightly, though. Don't tap, just a couple Valks to do some additional funneling. Send them all. Just make sure when you send the Valkyries, send them in 2 groups from the outside buildings, and they will path inward and then through the wall. So once that's done, free spell on the first Inferno Tower on the approach, rage spell and a heal spell down there as well. They will quickly take out the Queen, the Inferno Tower, break their way into the core, and that is where you would have a jump spell down that leads directly to the second Inferno. And at that point, use the Barbarian King ability to get through that second Inferno. Hog Riders would come in on the side that has the least threat of giant bombs, targeting specific defenses that will not be affected by your Valks or heroes. All that being said, save a little bit of cleanup, drop it on the edge of the trash ring, sit back, collect those 3 stars, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. This has been Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 GoVaHo with the AQ walk. I will be bringing a Town Hall 9 specific video for this exact same subject. It's just so much different than the Town Hall 10 and 11 video that I wanted to make sure that we separated it out and also try to cut down on time because I know this is a little bit of a lengthy video. But it is the new meta, guys. I recommend you learn it, love it, learn it, live it. get those Town Hall 10 and 11 3-stars with that GoVaHo, guys. This has been Powerbang for WHF. I am out for now, guys. We'll catch you later. Share this video with your clanmates, especially your Town Hall 10s and 11s. Hopefully it'll give you some insight on collecting those 3-stars. So peace out till later, guys. We will catch you soon.